Morning, boys and girls. Happy Tuesday. I hope you had a good rest and you're ready to get the day started. Um, I have a few more things that are very similar to what you did yesterday for you to do today. Now, before I just get started showing you those very quickly, there's one thing that I'm noticing, and it's across the board, and it's presentation of your work. So at the moment, and it's okay because we're all doing different things, but at the moment, some of the rules that we always follow, even in school, still apply. So whether you're typing, whether you're writing, whether you're doing something on overlay, something that's really important now more than ever is that I'm able to see it, because I'm actually having to look for the most part, at pictures of what you've done. So it's super, super important that it's clear. But also, you guys are in year 5 now, so you know if you're doing those comprehension questions, whether you're typing it or you're writing it out on a piece of paper, that you're always starting your sentences with a capital, of course. You're using punctuation because of course, and you're making sure that everything is laid out in a way that looks presentable. Because the second that your work is looking more presentable, it's easier to be able to follow and read, to check in that you know and you're able to answer the questions that I've set. So please, please, please make a concerted effort when you're starting your work today to lay it out neatly. I mean, even that can include titles of what you're doing. So rather than just writing number 1, where's that coming from? Is it number 1 from your comprehension to do with Snow White, or is it number 1 to do with the probing questions? So making sure, and even dating it, staying in those same habits are going to make it easier, because you're going to have to do them for a really long time. Even as an adult, when we're laying out work, we have to think about making sure it's clear. So do your best at laying out your work nicely today. So just continuing on today, I'll share my screen. You're doing the second page of the probing questions. You are continuing to make sure that you do lots of explaining along with those. I saw some really good answers from yesterday's probing questions, where people were not only showing using models, but they were also using words to describe what was happening to the numbers. That's a really good way of making sure that you're not just showing me through the fraction form and the diagram form, but you're also using actual words and sentences to come up with the reasoning behind why you know what's true. So you're carrying on with that. I have also put up 2 more comprehension things for you to do today. And the first is to do with the Hercules excerpt that we have. So you're going to go into play scripts, and then you're going to answer these 5 questions. So the 3 features of the play, that should be fresh in your memory, because we talked a lot about the different features of a play last week, and there's even a list in last week's folder that you can go back and look at if you need to refresh. The second one, myths are filled with fantastical things. So we know that myths, legends, and fables, they're part of that whole fantasy umbrella. And we looked a lot about what that was when we studied myths, legends, and fables in school. So I want you to go through the play, and I want you to say what was one element that was definitely fantasy. So when we're talking about fantasy, it's something that is probably going to be made up. It's probably could include some magic. It could include characters that wouldn't be able to talk in real life being able to talk. It could include magic. So have a think if you can think about where you can find that in Hercules. Then what role the muses take on. And when I say role, I want you to think directly about within a play, the roles of the people in a play. So if you think about the muses and you think about what their lines were, what is that role similar to in other play scripts that we've seen? And then I'd like you to find the quote that proves that Hades is sarcastic. Think about what sarcasm means. And then how does the playwright keep your interest at the end of the scene? So what are they doing to keep you hooked? And it's something that a lot of playwrights use, particularly when they're ending one scene and moving into another. It's to keep you wondering. So what do they do towards the end of Hercules here? And then the second one I'd like you to read is The City Mouse and Country Mouse. And this is a fable that you might have seen before, maybe in years before at school in guided reading. It's a traditional fable. But I would like you to answer these 3 questions. And if you have a partner, because there are only a few characters, you can try and act this one out too. And tell me the 2 main differences between the 2 mice lifestyles, and what do you think would be the good character traits for each of them. And if we're thinking about fables, what's the moral? We know that all fables are trying to teach us a lesson. So what's the moral in this story? Even though it's written as a play script, it still follows that traditional fable storyline with a moral. So have a think about that. And I'll stop sharing now. That's all you need to know. The play scripts are all in that folder. The 2 comprehensions are up, and your probing questions is the second page that you were working on yesterday. So you're carrying on with that. I wish you good luck. You have music at 10:50, so the Zoom code is in that schedule, so make sure you get onto music. And then if you need help with any of the work, or you're not sure what I mean about presentation, or you're not sure about any of the questions, just get in touch. But yeah, remember, key thing you're working on today is presenting your work neatly. Capitals, full stops, clear, so that I can really see what you're saying. Have a good day.